Hey everybody, Northwest Nick here. I was able to attend Dice Fest 2018 at the end of October. Dice Fest is a gaming convention put on by Flying Frog Productions. While I was there, I had the opportunity to chat Shadows of Brimstone with one of the game's co-creators, Jason Hill, and here is that conversation.
So, Shadows of Brimstone, what's your favorite class to play and why?
Yeah, so that is a good question. There are a lot of classes at this point. One of my favorites to play is actually the Saloon Girl, just because I really like the kind of rough and tumble, dirty fighting aspect to it, and having the freedom of movement to be able to bounce around, jump over things, slide under things, and feel like you're kind of a whirling dervish, just kind of kicking butt with your fisticuffs and little garters and everything, So I really like playing the Saloon Girl. I'm also a big fan of like the Lawman, just because he's a cool team leader type, and being able to have that badge in your pocket where you're just like, all right, is this badge? Is it time? Should I flash the badge? And also being able to hold up your badge and be like, that night terror, you're under arrest. That's amazing, right? Because no one in their right mind would do that, but being able to do that in the game makes it feel really over the top, kind of pulp heroics,
absolutely.
kind of thing. So those are probably two of my favorite ones, and it's weird because none of those are like expansion classes. They're really like base game stuff. Mm-hmm. But that's one of the things that I find so, for me, my personal play style, exciting is because it gives me more of a blank slate to create my own character. With a lot of the expansion ones, they've got a lot of stuff going on, and you can totally make, get a lot of artifacts and gear and buy stuff in town and make them your own. But because they have so much built-in abilities, it's always, every gambler is slightly more like other gamblers than every saloon girl is like other saloon girls, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I think that's a lot of fun. With Forbidden Fortress, I would say my favorites to play are probably the Enforcer, who's from Temple of Shadows. So he's not actually out yet, but he was part of the Kickstarter that we did, and he'll be out with Temple of Shadows when that hits to backers and hits to retail. But he's got some fantastic abilities. He's basically like a gangster type. And so he's got a big shoulder tattoo that covers half his arm. He's got his shirt like half removed so you can see his tats. And he's got a club that whenever he beats up a medium-sized or smaller enemy, basically 10 gold pop out. So you basically go around, beating up small enemies, shaking them down for their gold.
People's lunch money.
And then his tattoo is such that once per adventure he can fully heal because of his kind of extra iron grit for the tattoo. And in town you can go to the tavern and there's a back room for outlaws where you can get additional tattoos, and you choose what part of your body you want it to be on, and there's a list of body locations, and each one can only get one tattoo. But each tattoo gives you an extra +2 health. So with your shoulder tattoo that lets you heal once per adventure, the more tattoos you get the crazier, the Enforcer can get.
Very cool.
So it makes it a really cool dynamic, and he also has a lot of really fun starting upgrades. One of them is failure is not an option, or failure is no option, where basically it's kind of the old Yakuza mentality where if you fail a mission, you basically have to make note of it, and it represents you having to lose a finger. And if you fail 5 missions, you've lost enough fingers that you lose a hand slot. Or you lose a combat, I believe it is. Yeah. And then if you fail 10 missions, you lose a hand slot. So basically, it makes it so that it gives you a lot more stakes. But the benefit is that at the start of every turn, you get to recover a grit for free. So you're constantly just doing really nasty stuff, and like, is it time for? It's just a regular attack. No, I'll use a grit. Why not? I got that enemy looked at me funny. No, I'll use a grit. It's cool because I'm going to get this endless supply because you're basically always posturing because you can't bring yourself to lose. So it adds a lot of that kind of thematic flair for the archetype of the character, but also it makes it a really fun game experience.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. I can't wait to play.
Yeah, Forbidden Fortress has a lot of really cool stuff in it, and being able to play it on its own as like feudal Japan with all the enemies and all the crazy tentacles and monsters is really cool. Being able to mix it with the Old West so that you've got these crazy adventuring parties where it's like a ninja assassin and a sorceress teamed up with a gunslinger and a Jargono native and going on crazy adventures on the derelict ship hurtling through space. Just crazy wacky stuff that it's hard to do in almost any other game out there.
Yeah.
But that's one of the things that makes it so exciting is just that it's just endless possibilities.
Absolutely. Well, I guess one of the things I love about the versatility and being able to actually craft your own missions and campaigns, like I love that part of the game. In fact, that's one of the things my gaming group does is I craft a campaign, and right now it's built around basically a giant alien's coming to Earth and it's going to eat the entire planet.
Okay, nice.
And we're working with another alien whose planet was already destroyed, and we have to go to different time periods on Earth.
Right, sure, yeah.
So like the Ice Age, I'm using basically Targa
for
the
it,
Ice
sure,
Age,
yeah.
and World War II era, Tradera.
Yeah,
so it's
sure.
adapting the different worlds to different time frames, and it's playing out really well, and it's kind of fun. But that's something I really love about the game, just the adaptability.
Yeah, and we really love the fact that people have the option to do crazy narratives, and there's so many missions available now that it's pretty easy to be like, okay, this is the way I want the story to go, so these 3 missions are perfect for that, and then I wanted to do this, so these couple missions are perfect for that. And so it really lets you kind of build out the narratives.
Yeah, you guys have built the templates that absolutely are just so great for the gamers to use. Yeah. Super fun.
Yeah, and that's one of the things we're actually looking forward to doing in the future is more stuff where we can introduce more narrative options, but narrative campaign structure where we actually have some structure saying, well, these missions, play these missions out, use these enemies, use these settings and whatnot.
That's really cool.
So I think that'll be a lot of fun as well. Kind of almost little mini campaigns.
Do you have kind of like a time frame for when
we haven't announced anything yet, so I can't say anything too much, but there has been work done on the back end of it. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool. Okay, so one more quick question, jumping back to class. Sorry to keep you so long.
Yeah, no problem.
So if you're playing a hero, and you're not entirely sure, let's say it's a hero that could go ranged, could go melee. You personally, do you prefer ranged, getting, backing up and shooting from far, or do you want to get in there face first and start pummeling?
Well, the enemies oftentimes don't give you the option, right? They'll like jump into your face. But what I usually try to do is get an option for both, because generally speaking, you can carry enough anvils that you can hold on to a decent amount of gear, depending on what class you're playing. And so it's pretty cool to have that crazy void sword or a big Trun disintegrator. But if you have one of each of those in your back pocket, then you might run into a situation where it's like, oh, it's the Scafford gang, cool, void sword, I'm going to charge, or it's like, oh, it's bandits, we need a shootout, awesome, I'm going to go get behind cover and break out my my hell pistol. So having that versatility I think is really helpful, and being able to swap between them. And actually, that's one of the hero classes from the Forbidden Fortress Kickstarter. One of the Kickstarter exclusive classes was the Daimyo, which is basically a samurai warlord. And he actually starts with a Daimyo pistol and a warlord's katana, and so it gives you that built-in straight out of the gate. And so it's really fun to basically walk into a room and be like, Oni, cool, sword comes out, let's do this thing. Or it's like, oh, it's the Haryanago with her crazy flying hair. I'm just gonna take a step back and break out my pistol, take some pot shots with my matchlock pistol from feudal Japan.
Okay.
And then he also has stuff like armor and a helmet with giant horns, and he has allies that follow along behind him. These armored Ashigaru with spears. So it's always like, all right, you guys, you go over there and check that out. And they're like, and dead.
Okay.
But I mean, sometimes you can have this epic, allies, the armored Ashigaru, where it's like they're sitting there stabbing at something and they kill it. And they're like, I'm alive. I lived through this adventure. How did this happen? And so they actually have their full a little upgrade chart unique to that ally type, and a unique mutation chart for each ally type. So it's pretty cool if you get like a curious monkey following along with you. He's got his own mutation chart.
Oh, great.
He's got his own upgrade chart, so if he lives through enough adventures, he starts getting upgrades and going up in level as well. So the allies are a lot of fun too.
Yeah. So then does that particular hero start with?
He starts with one armored Ashigaru, and you can buy more to go with you with gold, and you can also get upgrades that let you carry more stuff. One of the starting optional upgrades is where you can start with D3 every game instead of just one, and the models that come with it, you get one, the male and female Daimyo, and then 3 armored Ashigaru.
Okay, so then is that the only hero class that can get those particular allies?
They're available to anybody to purchase.
Okay.
With gold in-game purchase, I should say. Which has a totally different meaning if you play phone games stuff. Oh, it's in-app purchases? No, just gold. Cents. Game currency,
Yeah. Totally get it.
But the allies set is pretty cool too. There's the Old West allies, which you could already get with the pack mule and the dog and all of that. But then there's also a feudal Japan allies set, which was part of the Kickstarter, which has a curious monkey and a banner bearer and a Ronin bodyguard who just walks along behind you, ready to be like, wait a second, let me jump in here. I'm gonna jump in front of this attack. Everybody's cool, okay? So the allies are a lot of fun.
Okay. Cool, man. I'm really excited for it.
Yeah, there's so many facets. I could probably talk all day. So.
Well, I'd be happy to listen.